and tell him, my son, but also as the commander in chief, stop what you're doing? Is it possible?
I think that that should be possible. But also the CDF has come out very clearly that the only person that can call him to order is the president. And who is also his father.
What does that imply? Somebody is asking here and saying, what does that imply if he hasn't done that?
I think that to the extent that there is nothing happening really, and we see the impunity continues, the arbitrary arrests continuing, but also the misuse of these offices that are constitutionally provided, it definitely means that the president seems to be promoting that kind of thing. So the president is an embodiment of the country's aspirations, but also where the citizens really seek for guidance. And on matters of this nature, on matters of this kind of situation where fear seems to be taking charge, but also where there's quite a lot of uncertainty, whether you are in the ruling party, whether you are in the opposition, or anywhere. It seems to be Mukwana raises a question about the army and the role of the army, and which is of course not disputed. I think that if the army can operate within the legal framework, there is no really a problem. The challenge is when that position is used to undermine the law, when the legal force that they do have is used to oppress others. Dr. Tweheyo highlighted the bit around prison and the incarceration. I think that prisons are places where criminals should be, and I think because the law presupposes that people who go against the law should go to those places for correction purposes, for different reasons. The challenge is when these facilities are used to undermine, are used to deal with alternative voices to matters that should be guiding the country. That is where the problem is, and to the extent that we see it, the actions being done with a level of impunity, it's where the problem is at. On why, for example, the Prime Minister, the ministers,
the Vice President,
are equally quiet. At the start of last week, the police in their presser were asked about the arrest of Lukwago, and they seem not to be aware. The arresting institution should be the police and not the military.
They held information.
That's to really, to the extent that we know, really, at least from what we see and what they say, they indicate that they are not aware. So for me, it means then that even when the police, who should be aware and should be the arresting institution.
Have you read the CDF Street today, where he says they asked him about tabs, and he said, we have so many agencies around.
Yeah.
I also don't know where he is. He said maybe another.
Conclude your point.
So I think that there is a fundamental problem. The Prime Minister, the Speaker, and all these other positions, I think that they have been relegated to largely what you would call ceremonial positions. And there is no critical power that they would wield in this kind of situation. I think they're also as victims as any other. But I think for me, as on this matter, as I conclude, I would want to say that it is important that as a people, we must understand what is at stake. Dr. Tweheyo says that this is a very serious matter, and we also encourage them to also treat it as a serious matter. Otherwise, if they expect that we should treat it seriously, and they are handling it in a joking manner, and when I say that, I mean the government and the rest of the people in charge, if they treat it unseriously, then it's a big joke. We must treat this country as a serious matter, respect the people, and do not use the powers that they do not use the constitutional mandate that you have to undermine the law, to abuse human rights, but also to work very hard to ensure that the democracy that the country has worked to ensure that is there is undermined. Thank you.
All right, Mr. James Tweheyo.
One, power is an illusion. The most dangerous form of power to wield is that of the gun. If you're wielding power that is guaranteed by the gun, you are in a weak position. The most powerful form of power, or the safest form of power, is that where you have the backing of the people. So those are just two things I wanted to put on record. Number two, I think somehow somebody has placed Uganda in a place where there is someone pressing a self-destruct button for certain actors. That once they have slid into self-destruction, there is no turning back. So what I am seeing, we are on a political precipice. So the country is actually likely to experience change in political leadership in the next 2 years or thereabout. And we are likely to have a boardroom president.
We have just gone through an election, and we expect another election in 2031.
Yeah, on paper, yes,
paper.
you're right. On paper, you're right. But my tea leaves are telling me something different. Because there are players who are in self-destruct mode, and therefore you should understand the geopolitics of our presidencies.
Are you sure we should not take those tea leaves to the laboratory to see what is in there?
But you have the laboratory in the first place. So, no, but what I'm saying is we have players who are critical and have gone into self-destruct mode, which is unfortunate for our country. So we, as Ugandans, the silence should actually be very worrying to the active players today.
There's a silence on the part
silence which I talked about in one of the categories of leaders. When they are ruling over society, that silence is usually a precursor to rebellion, total defiance, total rebellion, which can degenerate into something else that I wouldn't want to utter on air. So we shouldn't take this silence for subjugation, total subjugation. We shouldn't mistake it for total submission. We should take this silence as a warning to the military men. I have been moving in the streets of Kampala in the last few days, this week, and the anger that is seated within the people is unthinkable. From the market vendor to the shoe shiner to the matatu tout to the corporates. Kenneth, you and the likes of Dr. Tweheyo here, some are not talking, but they are all wondering what is taking place. People are saying we are even beyond a banana republic. So I have called on religious leaders. I have called on friends of President Museveni. Where are the likes of Muzeyi Bidandi Sali? Where are the likes of retired Vice President Edward Sekandi? These people need to call the president and sit down with him and say, you have put the country in a terrible position. It is a time where our national conscience is being, not even just being pricked, but we are facing a very sharp cut on our national conscience. So we need to discover ourselves. When we were growing up in Kampala, in the suburbs of Kampala, at one time we had a village bully. And the guy used to terrorize every kid on the village. My brother was one of the strongest guys, but he used not to pick fights anyhow. So one day, a parent of one of our neighbors asked the father to the bully, why don't you discipline this bully? The father said, no, let him continue messing around, you find out. I don't want to use the other word. Yeah? So let him continue messing around until he will find somebody who will teach him. Yeah? So one day he messed around with my brother. My brother started lifting weights at age 12. He beat the guy to pulp. Eh? From that day, the question of bullying was solved.
I can confirm that you are bullies because you have been bullying me.
No, yeah, we discipline bullies maybe. But anyway, that's a thing. So for me, I think that President Museveni's real friends, childhood friends, the likes of J.B. Kawanga, these people need to sit the president down and say you cannot leave the country at the mercy of a son who has gone out of hand.
All right. The last time I had an elder telling President Yoweri Museveni something like that was the Honorable Matthew Ruchikire. There was a gathering somewhere where he spoke about the need for President Yoweri Museveni to retire and provide the country a peaceful path to political transition. But let's hear Honorable George Musisi.
Well, I won't differ with the preceding speakers. The most important thing is that we seem to have gone back full circle. Because people tend to think that military dictatorships characterize themselves as such. It's usually the scenarios. Actually, even when they talk about political charges, some people tend to say, no, he's being charged with a lawful offense. It's not political. They are, even under apartheid, Moi was never charged with an offense called political offense. They always come up with some sort of charges. Even, I mean Nelson Mandela. So we are where Kenya was under Moi. Some of us have not given up to comfort Dr. Tweheyo. The issue is that we expect a pushback from the institutions that are mandated to do so, like the courts. Before you came in, Timothy had said, and I think even they had asked Parliament, what have you done? Indeed, as the opposition caucus this week, we sat and we said the Speaker, indeed, like Timothy was saying, should have recalled Parliament. But the issue is not even about this one incident. The issue is about this incident is just opening our eyes to the bigger human rights situation in the country. That General Museveni one time said that how can you be president when you can't account for one Ugandan? Now we have several whom we can't account for. The fact that people have normalized that even when you make a joke, even from our listeners, people saying, you people, don't you fear you'll be taken. They're not asking that we'll be taken to be charged with a lawful offense. That we'll be abducted for speaking something which someone doesn't want to hear. So we seem to have gone back full circle. We seem to, Dr. Tweheyo, you have eaten up, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about the government, seems to have eaten up all the gains. This government, by the way, the best gift it gave this Uganda was the Constitution, the 1995 Constitution. Apart from being shredded and removing its soul, by the two amendments of 2005 and 2017, which literally created life presidency, now you are eating up the very, very fundamentals, the very basics that you seemed to be shredded. So, for me, I think it's that bigger realization that we seem to be where we were, and that is a duty for everyone. One of the biggest, just 1 second, Anderson. One of the biggest mistakes people do is to imagine that that is the work of the opposition. And Dr. Kizaviste kept on saying this a lot, saying that I find people who tell me we are praying for you, and he kept on saying, don't pray for me, pray for yourselves. First of all, as you can see, many opposition leaders are in prison. Some are missing, like Mugumya, and can't be accounted for. As you can see, the media is in full retreat. Civil society is in full retreat. Professional bodies, the society representatives is in exile. Trade unions are in concert with the regime. There is literally no institution that is meant to provide that buffer between the citizenry and the excesses of the government. So, in other words, people on their own, and it's up to every, I repeat, decent Ugandan to advocate for a better country.
I actually heard some people from the opposition who have been saying that the people who are leading the opposition now have not provided the necessary leadership to respond to some of these
Of course,
issues.
that is one of the defeatist approach. Many Ugandans expect every other person to be a hero. Everyone. That is why they say so and so is not. If you say that the person is from the opposition,
that's what you've been promising. To be heroes.
Well, then this is your chance. If the other people are not speaking out, this is your chance to be a hero. You shine. Let the others sleep, and you take the chance to be a hero. Yes, simple as that. So if you are saying the person is in opposition is not doing what you are doing, and you are both in opposition, then you let him sleep. There is no person, by the way, who has a divine responsibility for changing this country.
Well, reminds
no one was commanded by God.
Reminds
so
me
if you think that, and
we are all in it together.
we are all in it together.
Reminds me of a song by your leader, Bobby Wine, in which he says that very many people want to go to heaven, but they don't want to die. But let's continue with the discussion. Dr. James Tweheyo, let's hear your perspective, your response to this issue.
Thank you. I have some very quick issues I need to put right.
Very quickly.
The opposition in the parliament has done their job. Actually, the leader of opposition on the 17th delivered a letter to the speaker demanding that parliament should be reconstituted quickly so that they discuss this matter of human rights. And I think literally that's what it should be. So that one alone. Number two, some people sometimes don't want to hear the truth. When the truth is so bad and bitter, some people don't want to hear it. General Musisi is the CDF, Chief of Defense Forces. That is the highest position in the leadership of the army. But then General Museveni is the CIC. CIC means
Commander-in-Chief.
Commander-in-Chief. So when General Museveni says it should be the Commander-in-Chief to put me in order as a CDF, he's not wrong.
But
and we should say so. The only problem is many people still think that the Commander-in-Chief has not prevailed over the CDF. That's the only gap that is there, and that's what has given people space to speak and talk and as if what General Musisi said is wrong. General Musisi is right to say, yes, here I am at this position, and you all know it is the CDF. Above, wait a minute. Above the CDF, wait. Above the CDF, who is there?
There's the law above both of them.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, above the CDF, certainly there is.
There are very many people above the CDF.
There's a CDF in the army. In the army, no.
No, in Uganda.
I'm talking of the army, man. I'm talking of the army. No, you all know it. Don't brand yourselves to the truth.
No, he said in Uganda. He didn't say in the army.
No. I've said General Musisi is the CDF. General Museveni is
the Commander-in-Chief.
The Commander-in-Chief. And the Commander-in-Chief, in all intent and purpose, is the one who has the authority and the right position to act, prevail, of course, within the framework of the law.
All those people are subordinate to the Constitution.
Yes.
And that's what we're saying.
Listen. General Musisi is not above the law. Even President Museveni is not above the law, and he respects the law, by the way. In all cases, if you have looked at whatever he writes.
If you follow the comments of the
have
people.
You ever, listen, I'm not
people
following the comments
the president
I'm following
is quiet.
the comments of the people, right? And let me come to that next. His Excellency, the President Museveni, has never acted just in a rush for intent and purpose of pleasing. He normally gets the facts, gets the details, and I want to tell you here, all listening and all viewing, that at the right time, I'm very sure without doubt, the President will talk about this matter. We'll even give explanation. We'll even give details. You remember the issue of the priest in Masaka?
He already talked.
Wait, do you remember the issue of the priest in Masaka? People raised issues until the time when he sat before the press, called the media, and explained this matter. Do you remember that? There are many other incidents.
But on this issue, he has already spoken.
What has he spoken?
He said.
Tell the world what he
spoken. He said he named his son Muhoozi, which means avenger.
Now, in what perspective do you bring this in this very situation?
Yeah, maybe he's just avenging.
Listen, I don't want you people.
And we saw the tweet actually saying that Elias Lukwago has opposed the government of his father for very many years.
You people, now you are speaking as who?
We are quoting the
Which
president.
words are you quoting and in what context? Please, you people, let's not mislead ourselves, not mislead the country. I've said, and let me repeat it.
Okay.
General Musisi is the CDF in the lineage of the army. General Museveni is the CIC, Commander-in-Chief. And in the rightful order, like it would be with my brother Musisi if he went to court, the High Court, up to the Chief Justice. There should be the hierarchy, and therefore you should not say, me Tweheyo the civilian, or this brother, the man, or Musisi, because he should be the one to discipline the CDF. No. There should be the rightful arrangements and proper order in which things should move. So let's put that aside now. And that's why I've added that President Museveni, the one I have worked with, does not simply jump on the bad word to speak. He says what he knows. He says what he has facts on. He explains the public. He explains. He even takes trouble sometimes to inquire from those who you say are the underdogs. I've seen it happen. I've seen him call some people and say, call me that person. And he calls and they say, that person is unable to talk, he's in prison. Call me his wife or his child, and he will talk to them and know the facts. And by the time he speaks, you know, he's a president. If you are going to speak and you are a president and you give misrepresentation and you give incorrect information, then you are not fit to be a president. That's why President Museveni has led us to this far. That's three.
Very quickly, we go for a break.
Yes, that's three. As I want to give additional comfort to my brother, the fact that we are able to come here, structure this as a program, discuss it, listen to the voices of the people down there who are responding, is a very good incident. Good incident that we are still having room and chance to speak, to say the truth, to tell the people. Even, by the way, don't think that the president doesn't listen to these programs. He listens. Even when he may be engaged, it can be a pre-recorded program and he listens to it. Be able to speak to our president. Be able to. Don't always say that the person who speaks to the president is somebody who must go listen to you, face him. No. The president listens. By the way, the other time, haven't you heard him very many times saying, I have read the monitor. This time they have put the right thing. Don't you think he has eyes and glass and can read all this? He can listen to this.
All right.
And he listens, and he actually knows at the moment the feelings of the people. And at the rightful time, the president will make responses, will give the state and the situation in this country, and will explain all the circumstances and the situations. And if there are any issues, certainly be sure he will explain. If there's a need for prevailing over whoever, he still has the ability and capacity to prevail over any person within this country and should get this right.